wish I could actually, but I am very technology handicapped.
I'm the same way. My
I
husband is the person
understand.
who's all into technology. So,
Me too, as you guys know.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, we are so excited, guys. Welcome to Team Forever Strong's weekly team call. We are so excited to have Isabelle Daikeler with us this week, guys. This is a really special treat that she's taking the time out of her busy schedule to talk to us tonight for the next 30 minutes. And for those of you who are brand new and you don't know who she is the co-formulator of Shakeology and the formulator of Daily Sunshine. And she's going to be sharing with you guys.
And the daily 3-day refresh,
And the 3-day
reset, and the boost. My favorite. People always skip them.
Oh, I know. I love the Ultimate Reset. The Ultimate Reset
Sexy,
is my
but they
favorite.
work.
Ultimate Reset is my favorite program that I've ever done, to be honest.
Wow, thank you.
I do. I love that one. I've done every single program just about that you guys have created, and the Ultimate Reset was the one that had me feeling the best. My stomach felt the best.
Wow.
I had the most energy, and I love that one.
Thank you for saying that. It's underappreciated, and it's not a big seller, so I can't ask for advertisements. So it's always word of mouth. I'm shocked that it's still on the platform, but I think there's enough of you that it's staying, and it's sound. It's the real deal. It's the fundamental of detoxing, and it's done in a way that's extremely efficient. So I'm very proud of it.
I know. I love it. You should be. It is the best. So I know they asked me to come up with some questions. I'm not sure.
I you didn't need to add more. We can just ad lib or whatever. But I'm good at babbling.
Okay.
Carl is good for one-liners because people always say, "Tell me in one line what." I'm like, The one-line person is Carl.
Yeah.
I like many lines.
Okay, good. I tend to talk too much. Yeah, exactly. Women talk a lot. Well, we're curious because I was hoping that you could, talk about how you came up with Shakeology, and then also just if you could weave in there, you shared a really great story, I think at Leadership, where you talked about how you went through this really rough patch where you weren't feeling well and the doctors kept putting you on medicine and how you were able to get off of that, and Shakeology has really helped you.
Yeah, well, it wasn't Shakeology at the time. But listen, let me see, because you had 3 questions. Where am I here? Okay. And they all kind of, I think if I babble, I'll answer all of those 3. How did you come up with Shakeology? What would you say to people who already ate extremely healthy about Shakeology? Why do they still need it? And could you please share your Shakeology story? So all that is kind of the same. So I'm going to try to show you that, to me, the platform and the coaches are an extension of my life, that to show you the value of you. And it's very real. So I know some of you will have heard that story, but I think it's important to help you understand your value and help you embrace your story and find your own way to express your experience of the products. And that's what matters. Everything else people can debate, but they can't debate your experience. And this is why at some point I think Carl asked me to share my story. You can debate to death if you think adaptogens are worth taking. It's okay. I love free speech. Whether someone agrees or disagrees is irrelevant. I want people to share. But they can't debate my life story and my experience, right? So I think that's where sometimes coaches are too eager to be sort of scientific or specific with saying the right thing, what's the right, wrong thing. And I don't believe in that. I believe that what really matters, with some information, of course, it's your story and what you went through. So in my early 20s, I got very, very ill. Now, to speak to the questions here, I was a track and field coach. I was a nutritionist, a sports psychologist, a rehab professional. I have tons of different degrees, and who cares? But it's just to give you the background. A trainer as well, kettlebell master, blah, 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 whatever master means. Just love kettlebell, was teaching it as well. So I was someone who had to eat decently. I was a natural vegan, so I just gravitated toward plants um, just because I love them. By the way, I don't anymore. Just recently, as a 2, 3 months ago, I realized I saw a biochemist. She finally was able to help me understand what was going on in my body, perhaps the birth of my boy, who knows, right? But it changed radically, and the challenges I've been having for so long, not as big as what I'm about to share with you, but enough to not help me heal from the birth after 10 years. And I couldn't understand because I eat tons of greens and avocado and fats and tons of vegan protein and blah, blah, blah. And I really want to say that because I think it's important so that you help honor your truth, despite the bestseller on keto diet, all protein, all vegan. It doesn't matter. Your experience, once again, is what matters. So I just don't like the taste of meat. I never have. I was raised with meat eaters. So as soon as I moved out of my home, 15, 16, I naturally, without thinking, stopped it. And then only once I got to the United States in my 20s, early 20s, that I realized, oh, I was a vegan. Didn't like, there was no label in my head. I just ate whatever I liked, right? But my diet was full of diversity that way because I like everything. And I just found out that I really needed to eat meat. I had an intuitive feeling of it 1.5, 2 years ago. And I disliked it so much. Every time I tried, I stopped. But once I saw the biochemistry and I was seeing what was going on, and how crucial it was for me to be able to get back to working out and all that stuff that I haven't done for 10 years. Just rehab. And I was like, holy cow, it's been 1.5 months that I'm introducing it. It took my stomach a while to get used to it. I can feel it. I can feel the difference. So vegan is all hip right now. It's all about vegan. Now, do I eat tons of plant and grains and all that stuff and coconut oil and all that stuff? Absolutely. But the protein, the animal protein, and I buy, grass-fed, grass-finished, kindly raised. I do all my research. I make sure to encourage these kind of companies, but it helps me. So that's a person that wasn't raised vegan, just naturally gravitated toward it, thoroughly researched how to do it right. And here I am needing to eat meat. My point is, let's stop looking outside of ourselves for what we need. Let's educate ourselves, let's read, but at the end of the day, which is why I love Reset, you eliminate everything and then you reintroduce and you see how it's actually affecting your body. That's what matters, guy. How is it affecting your body? So way back then, I got very sick, thought I was eating right, to your question, thought I had it down, my greens, my grains, my fat, my vegan protein, exercising, sleeping enough, all that. And my health started to decline more and more and more until I got to a place where I couldn't even go up one step of my apartment, collapsed, cried for an hour, crawled inside, and was scared out of my mind. Now, that's almost a 2-year process where I became broke, had to borrow money, couldn't keep my clientele, couldn't go to school, couldn't train my guys in the morning at UCLA. It was a mess. I really felt like any day now, I couldn't even pay my rent the next month. Like I was borrowing money. So I know broke. And I've been broke before that. But that was like as bad as it got. And scared and alone. And that's when it clicked. And I thought, I am missing a piece of the puzzle big time. Something is not right. And this is where I stepped out of what I knew, what I thought I was so good at, and started meeting Korean masters in their language, meaning that's, they have terminology that are different than ours, or botanical experts, Chinese, Taoists, I forgot all the names now, but really went out, even American Indians. And of course, life brought me a whole bunch of individuals. They referred me to people. They charged me very little. A lot of free time spent without charging me, educating me. They saw how badly I needed help, how scared I was. And they absolutely saw that health was available to me. I didn't. The doctors just kept wanting to prescribe drugs, which every once in a while I would try, it would just freak me out. Like it would just make me feel like I was a crazy person. And, I talk about the last one was antidepressant. And I remember thinking very clearly, I am scared out of my freaking mind. I'm going to be in the streets. I am getting sicker and sicker by the month. I am depressed. I think I should be depressed. I think if I wasn't depressed, that's when I would need drugs. So like all that is my body speaking to me, and there's nothing wrong with it. So these people introduced to me the importance of purity, potency, bioavailability, which I talk about with Shakeology, which Darren talks about, meaning that all the constituents, all the chemicals in those plants, in those foods that our bodies were designed to receive are alive, potent, complete, right? Completely alive, healthy themselves. So you get all of it, and none of the chemicals, pesticide, herbicide, GMO food, none of the stuff that we don't want. That's step one. That's crucial. And to be bioavailable, easily absorbed by your body and used by your body because it recognizes it. It is of nature itself. It recognizes nature. It was designed to collaborate together to create health, nourishment, cellular nourishment, meaning your cells open up. Oh, I know that stuff. Eats it. GMO, rah! And then it forces itself. It's like, oh my God, no. So I'm making fun of it, but clearly that's what's happening. So, and then your cell is like, I need help. And then it actually grabs stuff from your body to try to process this crap because it doesn't know what to do with it. And it's been doing this for decades and decades and decades. And then we wonder why they're more and more ill. And yet they're heroes, right? Despite it all, it's still going and going. So I learned that. And I learned microbiome, which back in those days, nobody talked about. So the little bugs in your gut and how important your gut health is to being healthy and how you feed those gut. Prebiotic, probiotic, fermented food, enzymes, super healthy, super helpful, and even fiber, simple, plain fiber, not so simple, crucial to your well-being. Most people don't have anywhere near enough. Learned about that. Phytonutrients, antioxidants from our super green and our super fruits that helps your body deal with stresses, all kind of stresses. Learned about that in more detailed way. Learned about the synergy of it all, how they're designed to work together. So slowly started to learn also about adaptogen mushrooms and herbs, which is something I really didn't know about, which are these incredible entities, these mushrooms and herbs called adaptogen because they adapt themselves. They don't need to be told what to do. They go in there and they're like the bionic eye, and they can just point to exactly what the problem is and know exactly what to do to bring balance back to all your systems, endocrine system, glandular system, circulatory system. All the system needs to be in coherence, work together, and it knows how to do that. Amazing. So learned about that, and they gave me roots and all sorts of things that I started cooking and extracting, very rudimentary ways of doing it, but did it nonetheless. Started learning, oh yeah, this person sells really good bioavailable roots or vegetable because I feel better when I buy from this place, not that place. So started seeing how important it is that it is potent, clean, bioavailable, grown ethically. So all that stuff I learned in my early 20s and healed myself from these very elements. Cut to Shakeology, when Carl asked me to design this, of course, I was not thinking, oh my God, America needs to get more protein. There's 1 million protein drinks. It's very simple. We could easily do it from our vegan protein or our whey protein. Just grab the amino acid. It's simple, it's cheap, it's no big deal, it's good. We have good source. But that was not my goal. My goal is these elements that I didn't realize how much I needed of, how rare it was to get it in a way that was clean, potent, bioavailable, not enough. I wanted to put it in a shake, all that stuff in one place so that all the research I had to do, you didn't have to do. I put it in that shake. Of course, I added fiber, protein, carbs, but these elements were the magical elements that were missing in almost everybody's diet. That's what the shake is about. This is why it's not a protein shake, and this is why it doesn't cost you $20, because it's 60 plus elements, and it's done fair trade, clean, potent, delicately processed with kind technical machine that can do that without killing what you want, but getting rid of what we don't want. Quarantine, tested a million times, all that. So, of course, when I needed help and I asked Darren to come along, and when I met him and we met, and it was the same sort of love of nature and awe of nature and having experienced its benefit. So he was perfect partner. And then we had a team that understood that and came along for the ride with the same intent, and Carl backed us up. So my story is your story. You see, I was sick. I discovered this element. People taught me and talked about these elements. I didn't know. I incorporated in my life. I healed myself, and then I reached out and started doing shakes for every client, every company I worked for. It was my protocol. It came with this shake that I would tweak for each group or each individual. And, it cut to Shakeology. That's how it happened. But my point here, I didn't read a great book and decided to put it together. I didn't see somebody on the market and let me copy it. That was real for me. I lived that reality. So when I look at you, it's the same thing. For whatever reason, you are not well, you don't know what to do, you've tried many things, and you try Shakeology, and it helps you. And just like me, you say, you know what? I'd like to make a living helping others like it helped me, because I lived it. I know it's real, and I'm reaching out to someone else now. That's it. That's all you're doing. Nothing bad about that. We all have to make a living, and you can sell a dress or nail polish or anti-frizz, whatever hair, or you can sell health, something that you've experienced and know it worked for you. So that's my answer to all these questions. None of it is rhetorical. It's all from experience-based. This is where the Shakeology comes from, way back then, except that I had an incredible technology ability with the money from Beachbody, with the staff, the scientists that I didn't have on my own, and another 20 years something from that time back then of experience with people, knowing that these elements indeed have helped many. So confident in it. So I think it answers all those questions, right?
Yes, you did. That was amazing. And I mean, I know even for myself personally, and I've been able to get my parents drinking Shakeology. They're 71, and my dad. Yes, I mean, my dad, his blood pressure has gone way down. He's been able to reduce his medication for it. I mean, we notice a significant difference if for some reason we miss a day, which we.
That's right.
I mean, I noticed a significant difference. And so I know when I talk to people, I am so confident in it. I'm like, you need this in your
I'm right there with you. When I don't have it, something's missing. And to answer one of the other question, why, if you eat healthy, would you need Shakeology? So that cracks me up, because in all my years and the research I've done, it is very rare that there's like this perfect human being that does everything perfect. Cut to being a mom with 2 kids, a job, a husband, or the husband with his family. There's always sleepless night. You're always rushing. How many times do we skip a meal? If one is sick, the other one is healthy. As soon as the one that was sick becomes healthy, the other one gets sick. And you have to make time and sexy time for your husband when you feel like shit and you're exhausted. That's a good time for Shakeology, by the way. But this perfection is cliche. It's like a movie. I don't know. When people look at me and say that, I'm like, let me just investigate your life for a moment. Or it's this go, 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 like I talked about in the last summit. We are going all the time, or it's the EMF that are everywhere, which I try to avoid anytime I'm not working, because we're hooked, and it's dehydrating. It's affecting our brain waves. all sorts of things. So more than ever, we need a daily dose of dense nutrition. I don't believe people that tell me. And you know what? If they think they do and they feel great, they probably won't be on the phone with you. But if they're on the phone with you, something's up. So don't try to just sell the technicality of Shakeology. Share your story. I never sell. I couldn't care less if 10 of you decide that I'm full of shit or not, or 2, or I've done this since my early 20s. I would do it with this platform, without this platform. I believe in all that. I live all that. And I share it. And I've been making a living of sharing that information for decades. So I never feel like I sell. And if somebody is too antagonistic, I don't mind it. It's okay. I wasn't always here talking about these things. There was a time where all that stuff was irrelevant, not in my hierarchy in the way it is now. So that's okay. I don't feel offended. You move on. You move on to the people that are open, willing, curious, want to research, want to investigate, want to hear about different ways of perhaps helping themselves. That's the people you go to and talk to. And the ones that, are very much against it, they may come back if they've been received and accepted with their negation, as opposed to being offended or being afraid of the price, which is an interesting thing too. It's like, Colin and I did not get into this business to design the cheapest product out there. That was not our big dream. Let me design the cheaper product I could ever design. It was the best. And let's see how much it costs. And let's see how low we can get it in order for you also to get your cut and do well. We never thought it would be as challenging as it has been to find that kind of quality, especially with the volume that we ended up selling. It's been quite a ride, but we love it and we're committed to it. So the money story is not just about us or the product. It really is a social story of shame toward money. Now, it's okay to dream and look at millionaires on boats and airplane and island, and we dream of being them. Suddenly, when we start making some good money, to be well and to be able to help others, we have shame. What is that about? Whenever someone has a big guilt trip about that, I'm like, you know what? I don't care about the Shakeology right now. Write this down and dive deep into your shame of being well, because it's probably what got in your way to begin with, to be able to be financially healthy or any kind of health, any kind of abundance. It's our own guilt and shame of not being worthy of. And especially mothers, I don't have time to get into it, but mothers that suddenly become their own CEO, that's who you are with this company, suddenly you have to sort of become a business person. It's a heck of a ride to get there. There's a lot of hidden and emotional challenges there that gets unrooted through the business, which is why I love Carl in his bullet points, in his tools, in his help. It's very concrete. It's very real. You can always hold on to, let me behave this way. But for me, I add this woman's sort of round up the whole thing, follow the wisdom of his 30 years of being a salesman, and yet add this deep female investigation. Write those things down and really dive into why am I ashamed? I sell something that's good. I know I lived it. This is why it's important that you live it. I lived it. I feel better. This is the real deal for me, and I share it. So I always talk about the money issue now because there's too many people having a hard time with that. So I can't go deep in it now, but I want to touch on it. Let me look. I think
that was so good, that whole last part. That was amazing.
I'm so glad. I think it's important. And you know what? I am not a businesswoman. I'm not good with technology. Like I said, I don't sell. I don't do practical, what's the word in English? I don't have an agenda ever. Now, it's part of my strengths. There's so many things that I'm good at because of it, but it also is part of what made my life so challenging to take care of myself, which when I look at Carl, I'm like, wow, I love how comfortable and joyful you are with all that. And look at him. He is helping so many. It's not selfish. I call it a selfless selfishness, right? Because you need to be able to do it for yourself before you can extend it to others. He would not have known all the little tools and tips that he gives you guys if he hadn't gone through it and learned and proved that he can for himself, the same way that I and Darren would not have been able to design this shake if we hadn't gone through decades of learning, investigating, and testing on ourselves. So it's all good. And you have a chance as women to actually empower yourself in such a great way, emotional, physical, psychological. It's beautiful. So take advantage of the platform that way. Could you please discuss the importance of good nutrition? What does that look like to you? Oh, that's funny. What does that look like to you? I think I explained that to you in the very beginning, right? So one thing I ask all of you is remain flexible. When I talked to Carl way back then, I said, do not make my shake static. Don't force me because it's a loved formula to not change if it asks me to change, if something isn't available, if something else becomes available, if it can make shifts and change to honor the purity, allow me to move with it. And he has. Very rare. And it's practically impossible because of the state of affairs of planet Earth to not have to shift and change if you want to keep the potency and the purity of the product. So you know what happened. So when I talked about my own way of eating, I've constantly, even within the vegan part of my life, I've stayed, I became acrobatic for a while. Like I always, and I'm putting label just to help explain, but I've always shifted my nutrition according to what was going on in my life. And it changed drastically. If you look at my life, it's never the same. So I love, again, the platform that allows you to choose from so many diets and experiment with so many different ways of eating and discover what works for you. But once it works for you, allow yourself the flexibility to suddenly realize you need to tweak it. Because women, more than men, have so many hormonal shifts. We have to honor them. So, and we have events with the birth, menopause. You know, we have events that requires us to be very much in touch and wise. Pay attention and allow yourself to change. Don't get stuck because of a bestseller book or a diet that worked for you for 3 years, or even a workout program. Again, take advantage of the platform. Investigate and allow yourself to change. And this is what my diet have looked like. It's never the same. Right now, after 30 years, I'm eating red meat. I just had chicken today for almost the first time, really, like a real portion. I don't really like it, but the heck with it. I'm having it because it's good for me right now. So, you know, I'm partnering with Darren, who is a vegan, hardcore, swears by it, wrote the book. And I love him, and I love a lot of all the information that he has in there. And yet I'm like, well, 30 years, and I feel darn good when I have that bison, or that chicken. I don't enjoy it yet, but I know I feel good. My body goes, so I don't know what happened because of a very difficult birth and the rehab I've been with, or my hormonal, God knows what, but something shifted and I couldn't heal. And I'm feeling better and better now every month. So my point to all that is take what works for you. Doesn't matter what people say. And so the other one is, could you please discuss the importance of good nutrition? Well, there you go. Before you pile up stuff, vitamins, supplements, and this is why I love the shake, it's food. It is not a supplement. It is food. It's a daily dose of dense nutrition. Food. Now, it cannot be the only thing. So nutrition is crucial. This is why we know that our kids have to eat healthy. We panic if we can't get these 3 broccoli heads in their mouth. 3 little broccoli heads, and we're so proud, most of us, right? Because somehow we know that this growing early phase of their lives is the crucial foundation of the rest of their lives. We know it because most of us suffered from having parents that didn't know about it or didn't understand it. And we lived the consequences of that later on in our lives. Something that's very important with my son is to be very conscious of not helping him with his mood through food compensation. I don't give him a dessert or a muffin or a candy when he's sad or he's had a hard time or he's done really well. I don't give him that, because that's the pattern later on that we still have to feel some nurturing, some acceptance, some goodness, right? And food is so potent that way, because it activates important chemicals in our bodies, chemicals that creates everything we can do. So food is the foundation of healthy chemical movement within our own bodies. So there's nothing more important than understanding that it's number one in your life. I would share that platform with emotional health, congruency. Again, like this food thing that usually we learn from childhood, cafeterias are food of, it's all, I forgot the word I'm looking for, like that kind of food that makes you feel nurture, comfort food, right? Everywhere, it's all about comfort food, everything. And so it's so challenging, because your kids go to school and all the kids have comfort food and little piece of dessert after their, whatever. And so one of the things that I'm trying to do is, no, I'm going to show up when you feel you need emotional comfort food, right? I'll give you the comfort. I'm going to show you that you're capable also to give yourself the emotional attention to move through that without, oh, look, I'm so good, let me have a dessert, or let me have fried onion rings. That's crucial. So food has the ability to provide this healthy chemical foundation for your kids to have an emotional response that's healthy toward life. Plus you, always you, the parents, whomever loves the child. So that's pretty much everything I think that you showed up. We have a few minutes. If you have any questions, please ask me.
Oh, this was amazing. Thank you so much, Isabelle. Incredible.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any last minute questions? You said we have a couple of minutes.
How does water go in the wrong pipe?
Yeah, I do the same thing. I choke on it sometimes.
It's like, how does it not go there?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yes. Yeah, go ahead.
So first of all, thank you, Isabelle, again, for taking time to talk to all of us. I'm sure I'm not the only one that really appreciates it. But my question is, are there any specific books that you have for us for continued reading on nutrition?
No, I dabble a whole lot on all sorts of things, and I have to be totally honest here. I think among coaches on the platform, there's a lot of people referring a lot of books. I read books for very, 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 very long time, and I still will hit and run in many different books online. I do lots of research online, read a lot of different people online. Sometimes I don't even know the name of the person. It's like there's a place called Green Med. I think it's called greenmedinfo.com. Amazing resource there, all sorts of resources. But I tend to read a lot of, for lack of a better word, spiritual books. So, I went through all sorts of phases in my life, and the soul emotional aspect of my life is with my flashlight is on. Big time. Now, of course, if whenever I create a new product, I have my team and I research and read, but I can't remember like a book about nutrition lately that I'm sort of specifically reading. It is my emotional development, my spiritual development is very, very important in my life right now. So I read a lot of stuff about that, and my own deep honesty with my own emotions and my own behavior, and practicing great awareness to be able to watch myself in the middle of everything, and so many ahs from just observing myself without judgment, without the right way to be, the wrong way to be. Just sitting with it all, sitting with the extremely comfortable thoughts, sitting with the uncomfortable emotions, not trying to fix it, not trying to go to an expert to tell me what I'm supposed to do with it. Again, just really living my experience. It's the great point of focus in my life right now. And so I tend to actually put books away. I tend to be aware how easy it is to constantly distract myself with information. So right now, when I have time, I sit in my backyard. What it's like not to read, not to listen to music, not to listen to a podcast, not to talk to people, really being with myself. What does it feel like? What comes up? And then when it comes up, not trying to get rid of it or not trying to make wrong or right, but really like, oh, look at all this thinking about this individual. Obviously, I have a challenge with this relationship, but it's always about me. It's never about the person. I don't go, well, she said it, you said it, or the last weekend. It's always about, oh, wait, any emotion that's triggered are my emotions to look at. Somebody else would not be triggered at all by the exact same event. What is that? That means it's not the event, but it is what's lingering in me that's not peaceful, that's in harmony and at war with myself. I'm in the midst of deep doing that, deep being that, because it allows me to be a better person, but also a better mother. And there's a lot of beautiful people talking about that, bringing that to the forefront more than ever. We're very blessed. Technology, despite it.
You just got muted. Okay, there you are.
Technology can also provide you with a lot of people to listen to like that. But then it's important to shut down these tools. And if you think about your life, it is very rare that you even take 5 minutes, sit in the backyard or in your bedroom, whatever, and not read, say, analyze, judge internally with this monologue. Like to just be, it's very difficult, very potent. And lots of wisdom comes from that. So I'm in the midst of that. So even though I have a zillion books and I often will pick up a book, just open a page and read, I am sort of not guided to read books for self-improvement right now. I'm guided to do that, to get there. I'm 50 and I'm tired of the inner monologues and the judgment and the striving, all the not enough. I've been at it for a while, but I'm really deep in it. And I think my son, who's 10 now, really helped me get there because I could see, why am I impatient with him? He's a kid. That's what kids do. I remember being like that. So this realization that these emotions are mine. He's not doing anything wrong. He's not making me feel anything. I'm allowing myself to feel these things because these pools of feelings exist in me. If it didn't exist, his behavior would not create this. And this is not easy. It's little at a time. That's okay. What else are we going to do? That or watch some weird YouTube irrelevant gossip about some other YouTube irrelevant something. Like, really, do we need more of that? So, that's what I'm into. And I'm talking about it because I think women can be so hard on themselves. Society makes it, enhances that. Not enough is big for us. Not worthy is big for us. No feeling of appreciation from the outside world is big for us. So it's time to appreciate ourselves, but not in our head. So you can have all the positive thing on the mirror and it helps. And there are tools and it helps. But what really matters is that when you sit with yourself for 5 minutes and you have that feeling about yourself, or you have that thought or that criticism, that you just sit with it. Don't try to fix it. Don't try, because it will go. It goes. So that's what I'm doing, guys, right now. That's my big thing.
Wow. Well, that was probably the best advice I have ever heard. And I never really stopped and thought about that, like being able to go aside and just let yourself be with your own thoughts. Usually I tend to do the opposite. Whenever I'm feeling something, if I'm feeling sad or bad, I'm always like, let me put on some pumped up music so I can get myself out of this. But I'm going to try that the next time because it makes total sense.
Yeah, I'm not eliminating anything, because as I look at my life, I've had to go through so many phases, and they all had their hues. So I'm just sharing the phase I'm in, but I do know that all the self-help, not all the self-help book, but many conscious, so hard not to put judgment in things. What I do know is that I'm tired of being afraid of my feelings and vilify my feelings, and technique to change my feelings, get to the happy feelings. It's tiring. And I was watching my son a long time ago when he was younger. Yeah, like the whole crazy thing. And then like 3 minutes passed, and I was just looking at him because I had started doing that for myself. And he did the thing and then come down, and he turned around, grabbed his toy and started playing, and he was so happy. I'm like, until I teach him that that feeling is wrong, that he shouldn't do that, he processed this with no fear. He just lived it, came out, done, toy, happy, right? So like this, it's like if you have technique to get rid of these feelings in your life, it's an emotion, it's a natural emotion that comes through living. And it's up to us to sort of accept that as part of our makeup. There's nothing scary about it. When we feel an emotion, we judge it, and we're afraid of it on top of it, as opposed to just living it. If you're not afraid of it, and if you don't judge it, if you're not running away from it like a mad woman, if you're just like, oh, I'm angry, you're just angry, you'll see it's so much more scary when you try to run away from it than when you're just sort of allowing yourself to be okay with, like, yeah, I'm a human being and I'm angry. Does that mean it's okay to go and yell at someone? Maybe sometimes, I don't know. It's not the best way to deal with situation, but like these private moments of sitting there with yourself, I think are crucial and are not enhanced in our society. Like I said on the summit and saying here, we are being told to do, create, perform, and look good doing it. So, it's a reality shift when you say, yeah, I get it. There's some great moments for that, but I'm gonna add a little bit of that and see what that does for me. We're all very, very wise. We all have that. It's not anybody to give to you. It's, I believe, who we are at the core. We're just forgotten. So let's use this technology to enhance that as well. Yeah.
Wow. That was so amazing. This was probably one of the most amazing calls that we have had. And I know you have to go now, and we cannot thank you.
Thank you for listening to all that.
Oh my
It's
God.
as important to me as exercise and Shakeology and whatever else doing. That being aspect is as important to your well-being, because the fear and the running away and the judgment and the self-talk and gossiping about other people all the time, we all do it, is also creating chemical reactions in your system. And our ego might love it and thrive on it, but our bodies definitely don't. It doesn't feel good to feel any of these feelings, and it's only us that can end it. So to me, that is all sort of the same thing. If you're going to take care of your health, then take care of your health.
Wow. It's so true, though.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
you,
Isabelle.
guys.
Yes, Team Forever Strong, thanks you so much, and we are so grateful for your time tonight. And
thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. We hope you have a great night. Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for hopping on. Thanks again, Isabelle.